The alien fleet drifted through the thick, glowing nebula, surrounded by clouds of strange gases and swirling lights. It was supposed to be a safe passage, but things had gone wrong. The ships were damaged, their systems failing, and their once powerful engines sputtered in the dark space. Captain Vrog, leader of the Volker fleet, sat in the command chair, his 4 eyes scanning the broken displays around him. Engines at 40% power. Shield generators offline, reported the chief engineer, his voice tense. Vrog's eyes narrowed. They were deep in unknown territory, far from home, and every ship in his fleet had suffered from their last battle. Their enemy had been fierce, and though the Volker had won, it came at a heavy cost. They needed repairs, but their technology wasn't holding up. The captain tapped his claws on the metal armrest. How much time do we have before the engines fail completely? 2 cycles at most, the engineer replied. If we don't get help soon, we'll be dead in space. Vrog's mind raced. He couldn't let that happen. They had a mission to complete, and failure was not an option. But where could they find help? Their own repair systems were too damaged, and no Volker station was nearby. Suddenly, the scout ship sent a signal. "Captain, we've found something," the scout officer said. "A station 2 light years away." Vrog's brow furrowed. "Is it a Volker station?" "No, Captain. It's human." The room fell silent. Humans? The Volker had heard of them. An emerging species, still relatively new to the galactic stage. They were known for their stubbornness and fierce survival instincts, but their technology was seen as basic, nowhere near as advanced as the Volker. The captain considered the situation. Asking for help from humans, it seemed ridiculous, but as he looked around the damaged bridge and heard the hum of failing systems, he knew they had no choice. "Set a course for the human station," he ordered. The crew hesitated for a moment, but they knew better than to argue with Vrog. The fleet turned and limped toward the small human outpost. Along the way, whispers spread among the crew. Some were doubtful. How could humans help when even their own technology was failing? Others were curious. The humans were known for strange inventions and odd ways of doing things. Perhaps they had something to offer. As they neared the station, Vrog stared at the view screen. The human station was much smaller than any Volker facility. It floated quietly in space, surrounded by a few human ships. It looked ordinary, almost primitive compared to the sleek, advanced design of Volker ships. But something felt different. The station was well maintained, with bright lights and activity. It didn't look like a place struggling to survive. Still, doubt clouded Vrog's mind. Would these humans even understand their advanced technology? "We're here," the pilot said. Vrog sighed and opened a communication line. "Human station, this is Captain Vrog of the Volker fleet. We request emergency assistance." A calm voice replied almost immediately. "Welcome, Volker fleet. We'll be ready to assist shortly. Please proceed to dock." The captain raised an eyebrow. There was no fear, no hesitation in the human's voice. They didn't sound intimidated by the presence of a powerful alien fleet. Instead, they sounded confident. As the ships slowly docked, Vrog couldn't shake the feeling that something was different about these humans. They were too calm, too certain of themselves. He couldn't explain it, but something told him that the humans might just surprise him. The Volker fleet approached the human station with a mixture of doubt and curiosity. Captain Vrog watched from his command chair as the docking clamps locked onto his ship. The human station, though small, seemed to be running smoothly. Its lights blinked brightly, and the energy readings were steady. It wasn't what he expected from a species the galaxy considered inferior. "Docking complete, Captain," the pilot announced. Vrog stood up, his tall, armored frame towering over his crew. "Prepare to disembark. Let's see what these humans can do." As the airlock doors hissed open, a team of human engineers stood waiting. They were smaller than the Volker, their uniforms simple, their tools strapped to their belts. Yet they didn't look nervous. In fact, they seemed confident. A human in a worn but tidy jumpsuit stepped forward. "Welcome to our station," the human said with a calm smile. "I'm Chief Engineer Daniels. Heard you've got some ships in need of repairs." Vrog studied the human closely. He expected some form of hesitation or fear in the man's voice, but there was none. It was as if repairing alien ships was just another day for them. "Yes," Vrog replied, his deep voice echoing through the corridor. "Our fleet is badly damaged. Your technology may not be advanced enough to fix our systems." Daniels chuckled softly. "We've dealt with all sorts of tech here. Just let us take a look." The captain's eyes narrowed. The human was far too confident for his liking, but there was no time to argue. "Very well. Begin your inspection." The human engineers wasted no time. They spread out across the docked Volker ships, scanning and checking the damage. The Volker engineers watched with cautious eyes, expecting the humans to be confused by their advanced systems. But to their surprise, the humans moved quickly and efficiently, making notes and discussing repairs among themselves. "Captain," one of the Volker engineers whispered to Vrog, "they're moving too fast. They can't possibly understand our technology." Vrog nodded. He shared the same suspicion. Yet, as he watched Daniels and his team work, there was no sign of hesitation. The humans moved like they'd done this before, as if they weren't dealing with alien systems at all. After a short while, Daniels returned. He wiped his hands on his jumpsuit and gave a nod. "We've looked over your ships. The damage is pretty bad, but we can fix it. Your engines need complete rewiring, and your shield generators are running on outdated protocols. We'll upgrade those while we're at it." Vrog's jaw tightened. "Upgrade? Your systems are nowhere near the level of Volker technology." Daniel smiled again, undeterred by the captain's words. "Well, that's up to you. We can fix your ships just the way they are, or we can make them better. Your call." The Volker engineers exchanged confused looks. How could these humans, with their simpler technology, possibly make their ships better? The alien captain folded his arms. "Very well, human. Show us what you can do. But if you fail, there will be consequences." Daniels nodded, unshaken by the captain's warning. "Understood. We'll get started right away." As the human engineers got to work, the Volker crew watched closely. They expected mistakes, but instead, the humans worked with a level of precision that surprised them. Every movement was calculated, every tool used with purpose. The humans moved faster than any Volker repair crew, as if they had done this 100 times before. Vrog couldn't help but feel a growing sense of unease. These humans were not acting like a species that was struggling to catch up with the galaxy. There was something about their calm confidence, something he couldn't quite understand. For now, he would wait and see. But one thing was clear: these humans were far more capable than he had first thought. The repairs began quickly. Human engineers swarmed the Volker fleet like a well-practiced team. They moved with speed and precision, barely needing to communicate, as if they understood each other perfectly. Captain Vrog watched from the observation deck, his eyes narrowing with suspicion. How could these humans, who were supposed to be less advanced, work so quickly and confidently on alien ships? Down in the docking bay, Chief Engineer Daniels led his crew with quiet efficiency. His team didn't hesitate, even when faced with Volker technology they had never seen before. Tools flashed, sparks flew, and soon the humans were deep inside the engines of the Volker ships. They worked methodically, stripping down damaged systems and replacing components with their own. One of the Volker engineers, named Kroll, stood beside his captain. He watched the humans in silence for a while before speaking. "Captain, I don't understand. They are using their own tools and parts, but it's working. Our systems are responding better than before." Vrog grunted, crossing his arms. "It doesn't make sense. Their tools should be incompatible with our technology." But the evidence was right in front of them. The first ship's engine was being rebuilt in record time. The humans had rewired the entire power system, stabilizing the core in ways the Volker had struggled with for years. Daniels worked calmly, guiding his crew through every step. When the engine roared to life, smoother and stronger than before, Kroll's eyes widened. "Captain, the readings are better than normal." Vrog looked at the monitor, disbelief washing over him. The ship's power output had increased by nearly 20%. How was this possible? He glanced down at Daniels, who wiped his hands and checked the readings himself, looking satisfied but not surprised. First ship's engine is good to go, Captain, Daniels called up. We'll move on to the shield generators now. Shouldn't take long. Vrog's mouth tightened. He couldn't understand it. Humans were supposed to be struggling to catch up with the rest of the galaxy, yet here they were, improving his fleet's ships as if it were routine work. Captain, Kroll said, hesitating before continuing, perhaps we underestimated them. Vrog didn't respond right away. His pride as a Volker captain told him that his people were superior, that no species could repair Volker technology better than their own engineers. But the proof was undeniable. The humans were not just fixing their ships, they were making them better. As the hours passed, the humans moved from ship to ship, repeating the same process. They worked faster with each ship, applying what they had learned and improving their methods. The Volker engineers, once dismissive, now watched with growing respect. Some even started asking questions, curious about the humans' techniques. Daniels and his crew answered patiently, explaining their methods in simple terms. They spoke of efficiency, problem-solving, and creative thinking. The Volker were stunned by how the humans thought outside of the box, coming up with solutions the Volker had never considered. By the end of the day, 3 ships had fully functional engines and upgraded shield generators. The Volker ships now ran smoother, faster, and with more power than ever before. Captain Vrog stood at the edge of the dock, staring at his fleet. His pride still stung, but he couldn't deny the truth. These humans had a skill that surpassed anything he had expected. Daniels approached, wiping the sweat from his forehead. Your ships are in good shape now, Captain. They'll run better than before. Let us know if you need anything else. Vrog turned to the human engineer, struggling to find the right words. Finally, he spoke. You have done more than I thought possible, human. I do not understand your methods, but I cannot argue with the results. Daniels shrugged with a modest smile. It's just what we do. We're used to fixing things, no matter where they come from. As Daniels and his crew packed up their tools, Vrog looked back at his fleet, feeling a new respect for the humans. Their skill wasn't just in their tools or technology. It was in their determination to find a way, no matter how difficult the problem. And that, he realized, was a power far beyond any advanced technology. Captain Vrog stood on the observation deck, staring at his newly repaired fleet. The ships looked the same from the outside, but inside, they were stronger, faster, and more efficient than ever. The humans had done something remarkable, something the Volker never thought possible. But Vrog needed answers. How had these humans, considered an inferior species, managed to outshine the advanced Volker engineers? Down in the docking bay, Chief Engineer Daniels and his team were packing up their tools. Vrog decided it was time to confront the human. He marched down to the bay, his heavy footsteps echoing through the metal halls. Daniels noticed him approaching and gave a respectful nod. Captain Vrog, Daniels greeted, wiping his hands on a rag. I trust the repairs are to your satisfaction. Vrog's eyes narrowed. Your work is impressive, human, but I need to understand. How did your species become so skilled at this? Your tools are basic, your technology far below ours, yet you've improved our ships in ways we never could. Daniels chuckled lightly. It's not about the tools, Captain. It's about how you use them. Humans have a knack for solving problems. It's in our nature. The alien captain crossed his arms, still skeptical. What do you mean? Your species is young by galactic standards. How could you surpass civilizations that have existed for millennia? Daniels leaned against a crate, thinking for a moment before speaking. It's true, we're new to the galactic stage, but back on Earth, we've faced challenges for thousands of years. Humans had to survive in some of the harshest environments you can imagine. Extreme weather, dangerous wildlife, and of course, each other. We had to adapt quickly, and we learned how to think on our feet. That's why we're good at what we do. Vrog's expression softened slightly. Adaptation and creativity. Daniels nodded. Exactly. We don't always have the best tech, but we're experts at making the most of what we've got. When something breaks, we don't just fix it. We figure out how to make it better. It's how we survived and thrived on Earth, and it's how we handle any challenge, even out here in space. Vrog glanced at the human tools, which now seemed less primitive in his eyes. So your skill comes from necessity. You've had to struggle to survive. Struggle, yes, Daniels agreed, but also innovation. Every time we faced a problem, we found a solution. It didn't matter if we had the right tools or not. We made do. And now, when we come across alien tech like yours, we approach it with the same mindset. How can we make it work better? Vrog was silent for a moment, absorbing the human's words. He realized that the humans weren't just skilled engineers. They were relentless problem solvers. Where the Volker relied on their advanced technology, the humans relied on their ability to think outside the box. I see now, Vrog finally said. You are not limited by your technology because you refuse to be limited. You find solutions where others see none. Daniels smiled. That's about right, Captain. We've had a lot of practice. Kroll, the Volker engineer, stepped forward, curiosity getting the better of him. What about your ships, human? If you're so good at repairs, why don't we hear about human ships being the best in the galaxy? Daniels shrugged. We're still learning. Our ships aren't the most advanced yet, but give us time. We'll get there. For now, we've mastered the art of fixing and improving things. Who knows? Maybe one day, human ships will be known across the galaxy for more than just their repairs. Vrog raised his hand, silencing Kroll. You have earned my respect, human. Your species may be young, but your skill and determination are beyond what I expected. Daniels nodded, his face modest. We're just doing what we do best, making things work. As Vrog turned to leave, he couldn't help but feel a deep sense of respect for these humans. They weren't the most advanced species, but their expertise was born from something far greater than technology, their will to survive and improve. The repairs were complete, and the Volker fleet was ready to depart. Captain Vrog stood on the command deck of his newly repaired ship, still marveling at the improvements made by the humans. His fleet had never operated so smoothly, and the ships were now stronger than they had been in years. But Vrog's thoughts were elsewhere. The humans had shown a skill far beyond anything he had expected, and it left him wondering what else they were capable of. Down in the docking bay, Chief Engineer Daniels and his team were preparing to leave. They packed up their tools with the same quiet efficiency they had used to repair the Volker ships. The job was done, but Daniels could sense that something had shifted. The Volker no longer looked down on them as inferior. There was respect now, a mutual understanding. As Vrog made his way to the docking bay to say his final goodbyes, his mind raced with questions. What did this mean for the future of the galaxy? The humans had shown a level of adaptability and ingenuity that no one had anticipated. If they could improve Volker ships, what else could they do? When Vrog arrived at the bay, Daniels greeted him with a nod. Captain, I hope your ships are performing well. Vrog met Daniels' gaze. They are. Better than ever, in fact. Your skills have surprised me, human. Daniels smiled. Glad we could help. That's what we're good at. Vrog's eyes narrowed as he considered his next words. Your people, you hide your strength well. The galaxy sees you as a young species, inexperienced and unproven. But now I see the truth. You are far more capable than anyone realizes. Daniels shrugged. We're just getting started, Captain. We've only been in the stars for a short time. Who knows what we'll achieve in the next few centuries? The Volker captain crossed his arms, deep in thought. The other galactic powers, they don't see you as a threat yet, but that will change. If they discover what you are truly capable of, they will not be so kind. Daniel's expression remained calm. We're not looking for conflict. We're explorers, builders, problem solvers. We just want to do our part in the galaxy, but we won't back down if anyone tries to stop us. Vrog nodded slowly. He respected that. The humans weren't conquerors or warriors by nature, but they wouldn't let themselves be pushed around. It was a dangerous combination. A species that sought peace but was ready for war if needed. As Daniels and his team prepared to board their shuttle, Kroll, the Volker engineer, approached. Before you leave, I must ask, how did you learn to repair so many types of ships? Your knowledge goes beyond what a species your age should have. Daniels smiled. We learn fast. Every time we repair a ship, we learn something new. We study, we adapt, and we improve. It's how we've always survived. Kroll seemed impressed. Your ability to learn from every encounter. It's rare. Vrog stepped forward. It's more than rare. It's dangerous. If the galaxy realizes just how fast humans can learn and adapt, they will fear you. Daniel shrugged again. Let them. We'll keep doing what we do, fixing what's broken and making it better. As the humans boarded their shuttle, Vrog felt a deep sense of unease. The humans were unlike any species he had encountered. Their strength wasn't in their technology or their weapons. It was in their minds. They saw problems and turned them into opportunities. They faced challenges and grew stronger. It was a skill more powerful than any weapon, and it would change the balance of the galaxy. As the shuttle lifted off and disappeared into space, Vrog looked out at his fleet. His ships were better than ever, but the real revelation was the humans themselves. They had the potential to shape the future of the galaxy in ways no one could predict. For the first time in his long career, Captain Vrog felt uncertain about what the future held. The galaxy had no idea what was coming, but Vrog did. The humans were rising, and soon everyone would know their name.